What's up, you guys? We're actually here for Ashley's previous house hack. So it's not exactly a house hack where she didn't exactly own it, but she was actually a live-in manager for this property. First time that I've ever seen this happen. I mean, it's kind of nice like seeing that actual like arbitrage aspect of it rather than the ownership aspect. So there's a whole bunch of new content here, a lot of stuff to be really excited about. And what's cool about this too is that she's planning on 1031 exchanging this. So there's actually a lot of cool features about this, very unique property. So let's go inside and check this out.
What's up, Ian? Welcome to my crib. I'm about 2.5 miles from Iliff and 225. This is Willow. She goes with me everywhere. This property is a 4-bedroom house hack that I'm actually in the process of selling right now. Really cool experience for me. I did it for 4.5 years. So when you go in, it's not that pretty. This is the end of my tenants moved out on Sunday, and so everything is out of the house. So the property right now is in the process of being updated, new carpets, new paint, new light fixtures, things like that. So it is a bi-level property. So I'm going to show you the garage first because we don't actually have access to the garage inside the house. Very basic. I do rent each space for $50 a month. When I lived here, I took the left side and I had a tenant that just paid to store things on this right side. Over here on this rock area, I was nice and I just let tenants park here. One day I drove out of my side of the garage and I wiped my mirror all along their car. So learned the hard way that I do not rent that out, and I tell everybody they're not allowed to park there, even though it looks like they can park there. As you can see from all the awful weeds, I am literally in the process today of weeding the property to make it look a little bit nicer, to get it ready to sell. So I do have the code on here. Highly recommend having something like this. I change the code every single time a tenant leaves or comes, so it's very, very handy to have. Like I said, the property is bi-level, so it's split immediately when you walk in. I was hoping I could get away with just caulking some of the holes and painting over it, but unfortunately my handyman came in and said a whole new paint, it's about $2,000 to repaint the entire interior, which is about 1,600 square feet. He said it will make such a huge difference when buyers come in. It'll look fresh, it'll look clean. Hopefully it'll get more buyers. So same thing, living room, or this actually was the dining room. So this is what 4.5 years of wear and tear looks like. It starts to bubble. The carpet, I was hoping to just be able to stretch it and clean it and call it good for the sale of the property. I had 2 carpet installers come in and say no. If we stretch it, it's just gonna come completely up again. So unfortunately, I can't find a cheap way out of new carpet. We are going to do carpet though versus LVP because we're just selling it. And here's the kitchen. This was my favorite, or still my favorite part of the house. I had when I lived here, I allowed pets. I had no pet fee. I actually encouraged people to bring their pets because I had 2 cats and my wonderful dog. So I wanted people with their pets. It has a dog door, fenced in backyard. I wanted space so that if all of the animals were in the kitchen and multiple tenants were in the kitchen, nobody would complain. Never had a complaint about it as well. So one of the newest things that we did was redid our entire deck. So we have beautiful Trex now. We stained the deck originally. It was just all wood. We didn't stain it properly. We didn't sand it. We didn't put down a primer or anything like that. So it completely deteriorated the deck in a year. The paint had came off. It started warping where we walk right here. So unfortunately, the cheap way of trying to fix our old deck was to stain it. Didn't do it properly. So now $8,000 later, we have a brand new deck. The main project that I had been doing for the 4.5 years that I lived here was xeriscaping. So this whole gray rock used to be grass. I wanted it to be, it ended up dying because I didn't have a sprinkler system. So in 4 years, we finally xeriscaped all of it. Probably a $7,000 job. And that's just because of the amount of rock. I think the rock was the majority of it because the labor was me, my mom, and her boyfriend. But now I love it. I have lilac bushes, a rose bush, stuff that I personally wanted since I lived here for so long. I had 2 tenants in here that worked for a security company called Vivint. They actually put in a security system for free for me, which was really awesome. So that's this thing. which right now it's off because I was cheap and didn't want to pay for it when they left, but 40 bucks a month. And there's sensors on all of the doors, so the back door, the front door. So down the hallway, have a linen closet, which is really nice because this bedroom, and one of the bedrooms downstairs shares this bathroom. The reason for that is because it's a 2-bathroom and one of the bathrooms is through a bedroom, so that person obviously gets their own. Very basic. This house was from 1972. Some of the stuff I'm gonna do to make it look better is repaint the entire thing, recaulk this, and then change the light fixtures. This was my room for 4.5 years. I took the biggest room and the only room that had a walk-in closet, but I wanted the walk-in closet, and so I had to sacrifice sharing a bathroom with 3 people for 4 years. Walk-in closet. I did change the window in there before I knew about remodeling. Apparently the frosted windows are a bathroom type window, which I didn't know about. I changed in here and I didn't want to, I changed it here and I didn't want a window that people could see. So yeah, I accidentally put a bathroom window into a walk-in closet. So for me, since I was a live-in landlord for so long, I did originally want to be friends, not necessarily know tenants that were moving in, but once they moved in, I did want to be friends with them. Unfortunately, I learned the hard way and realized that it's very hard to separate a business life and your personal life. And so the first 2 tenants I had, 2 girls, we actually clicked really well, but throughout their stay, they started to break a lot of the rules. Some of it was dog related, some of it was just how long they wanted their leases to be. They always complained about the rent and pricings, and I just wasn't quite sure how to be their professional landlord, but their friend at the same time. So they ended up only staying about 6 months because things just didn't work out. Since then, I changed my wording from roommates to tenants, and I took on a full, I am a live-in landlord. I set up a lot of boundaries, simple things with puppies. I stopped allowing puppies. That was one of the big issues. I allowed a friend of the tenant to get a 3-month-old because I love dogs and I wanted one. I ended up training the dog, and she made all of the tenants kind of take care of the dog. So I set up like crate rules. I set up, if you get a dog, you need to discuss it with me. We need an actual plan to make sure the dog is going to be exercised so they're not barking and causing other issues. And the other issue that I ran into was tenants that wanted to break their lease early. If they gave me enough heads up, one of the tenant friends said 3 months before she wanted to leave that she was gonna break her lease. And I was like, well, that's still breaking your lease even if you're giving me 3 months notice. So from the very beginning, as they are signing a lease, I say whether or not you break a lease 2 months early or 2 days early, you don't get your money back. So I actually take the first and last month's security deposit, and if they break their lease, I keep that last deposit. So this room was $900 when I moved out. Took $1,800, and she moved out when her lease was up, gave her all of her money back. And I normally don't have issues with tenants expecting anything back from me after I've set up some boundaries and some guidelines. So this is one of the other rooms. So this one was rented for $850. It's a little bit smaller. The layout, basically, my room pushes up against this wall. So it's about 2 feet smaller. It doesn't have a walk-in closet. I got $850 for this for 4 years. Nobody ever complained about that price. So one of the things that I'm gonna do to kind of rejuvenate the life of the house is we're going to sand that and do polyurethane. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. So that could be a super cheap way to bring that wood back to life without needing to replace anything. We are planning on replacing all of the carpet, which is about 1,300 square feet. The only floor that will still be here is the kitchen floor and the bathroom floors. So in here is the living room, which looks very sad because there's nothing in here, but it used to be a really cool living room. Giant couch, which the other reasons I don't allow, which I don't want to have pets in rental properties anymore, is they destroyed the couch. But we had a TV here, a fireplace. On that side, in the very beginning, I had a saltwater aquarium, which was too much maintenance and I didn't want to deal with it, so I got rid of it. When it came down to utilities, even though it was my mom's property, I paid for everything because I was in charge of setting the payments for each room. So what I did is I just paid for all the utilities. It ended up being about $300 a month, and it was just included in the round number of the rent. So I took The rent my mom had originally, it was $2,000. Market price for this property was about $2,400, so I was getting a discount with my mom owning it. I made $2,600 and then paid $300 in utilities and then paid about $300 in taxes and just keeping up with cleaning supplies. So that's where basically living for free was. When I moved out though, my mom was like, oh, but I lose my live-in landlord. It's gonna be a little bit harder to manage and I haven't increased your rent for 4 years. So she increased it to $2,200, which was fine because I was like, well, I'm gonna rent out my room for $900. So that's where that $700 cash flow came from, is renting out my room. So in here we have our utility room. Washer and dryer came with the house. I actually never had any issues with them. I did have to replace the water heater, the water heater pretty much immediately when I moved in. So this was a room, this was the room with the private bathroom. So this one was actually $950. And it always ended up being single dudes that left it really dirty all of the time. So the carpet in here is completely ruined. And there is no way, I couldn't charge the tenant when they left because I actually pretty much forced everybody to get out. So I just spontaneously decided to sell because I was pretty much sick of property managing, and the market, I'm a realtor now, started to realize the market's shifting to a buyer's market really quickly. So I wanted to get in and sell as fast as possible. So I gave my tenants 6 weeks to get out. With a perk of them leaving so quickly, I said I will return everything. They get their money back, prorated rent, security deposit. So this is the last room. Like I said, 4 rooms in the house. So this one is $850. So pretty much every single room, $850. I did $900 for my upstairs because it was a walk-in closet. And also too, I only rented that room recently, so the prices have gone up. I pretty much kept my rents the same throughout everybody's life. I think I raised rooms after COVID. I dropped that room to $900 when he left a few months before I decided to sell, upped it to $950. So COVID kind of messed up my rents a little bit. So this property is unique. This is actually called rental arbitrage. So 4 years ago, I wanted to move to Denver. I had this dog, a black lab, and 2 cats. I could not find anywhere that would allow me to have animals. And so I actually came to my mom and I said, would you be willing to buy a property? If you buy a property, I can rent out the rooms. I'll keep the money, I'll manage it, I won't do anything, but I cannot find a place to live in Denver unless I pay $700 for a room and nobody will take me with 3 animals. So that's how I got into house hacking without even knowing what it was called. So the numbers for this, so my mom bought this property for $315,000 in April of 2018. I lived here for 4 years. Moved out about 8 months ago. When I moved out though, the management got to be difficult. Tenants were just having issues with each other, fighting. They didn't like who I subleased my room to. And then I always took care of the property. So like I said, my mom didn't want anything to do. She just wanted to be the bank and the owner of the house. So I cleaned the house constantly because I wanted my tenants to be happy and I wanted everybody to get along. I did all of the yard work. And so when I lived here, honestly, it was great. I lived completely for free. So when she bought this property, she put 50% down, which was about $150,000. That made her mortgage $1,422. She charged me $2,000 a month. Market rent's about $2,400. I made $2,600. $300 went to utilities, $300 went to random things like taxes. Subleasing taxes are actually more expensive because I can't write off anything like depreciation. I can't write off the interest. I can't get a tax credit for buying a property. So taxes were a little bit more. So I spent about $600 to keep it running. $2,000 went to my mom. So I lived completely for free for 4 years, which was absolutely amazing when I didn't think I could even move to Denver with all of my animals. So the market in the past 3 months has pretty much shifted from a high seller's market to more of a buyer's market. Interest rates have increased. So this would be a good time to get into sell before it completely turns over into a buyer's market. Also, honestly, I'm kind of over property managing. I loved living for free. It was fantastic, but I want to focus on being a realtor and helping other people get to do the same thing that I get to do. So I talked to my mom, kind of told her the idea that I wanted to sell. I didn't want to be a property manager anymore. So since she put $315,000 into this, we did comparables on the market, hoping to get $515. So theoretically, the goal is that she'll have $200,000 to spend and invest in real estate because I got her into it. She has to do something called a 1031 exchange. And the reason for that is because if she just were to pocket that money, she would have to pay 10% on taxes, which is 20 grand. And who wants to pay 20 grand when you don't need to? So she is actually, hopefully the goal is, as her realtor, I'm going to try to find a property for her that will still be a rent by room, but it will have a property management company that specifically deals with rent by the room. So we're looking at doubling the size of this property, looking for a 7 to 8 bedroom. And hopefully her mortgage will be about the same because now she will be putting $200,000 into a property, but she'll be paying for property management. So she is actually gonna go off and do her own thing, and I'm gonna transition to short-term rentals. So I have 2 potential deals coming together soon that are gonna be Airbnbs, and I run my mom's Airbnb. My mom is my great investor. So I run that one and I absolutely love it. It's in Canyon City, so I'm considering buying a property there. Prices are $300,000 for a decent sized house. And I have to do 15% because I've not been self-employed for 2 years. So saved up enough money that I should be able to get a property in Canyon City, or South Padre, Texas is the other place I'm looking. So I loved house hacking so much in real estate investing that I decided to become a realtor. Ian's a realtor too. We are both on the FI team. Absolutely fantastic team if you want to be Denver-based investor. So I loved house hacking and real estate investing so much that I became a realtor. Ian's on the FI team, and so am I, an amazing investment-based real estate team if you are looking to get into house hacking yourself. And why wait to buy real estate when you can buy it now?